Hello my YouTube friends. I went shopping. Got me some peppers, some tomatoes, asparagus, a grape, black muscadine I think, yeah, and some potatoes. And they will be going into I'll be planting them today. Let me give you a quick update of what I'm doing recently in my garden. One of the benefits of having peach trees in your property is that every season around this time of year you get a lot of little peaches starting to sprout in your raised beds everywhere. Wherever there's a peach that landed there and got covered by soil, the seed got stratified, and now we have a lot of peaches, little peach trees. So I've been taking them out of my raised beds and putting them into pots. Hopefully they'll survive. I think they will. And later I'll graft them. So see what happens. Here I got the little rosemaries. A lot of them survived. The ones that didn't survive were not due to the gardener, but to this little fellow here. Come here, Gary. Come here, look at him. Look at that little thing right there. Cute. Never has there existed a dog that decimates the garden so fast as this little thing right here. He doesn't look like much, but look at him. He's just terrible in my garden. Anyway, one other thing that I just did here, it's that I covered all this little bed here with leaf cover. Now I have a lot of volunteers here. A lot of tomatoes are volunteering. A lot of leftover lettuces and spinach. So all those little volunteers are going to do great. Let me show you something. Move, Daisy. You see that soil right there? You see how dry it looks? That dry looking soil right there. It was beautiful this morning, and I purposely disturbed it just to show you the importance of keeping your soil covered. You see this here? Behind this, look at this beautiful soil here. Look at this. That's why you need to keep your soil covered. Soil does not like to be exposed to the elements. It dries out, it blows away, creates erosion. It's not good. Always cover your soils. Put some leaves on it. Put some grass clippings on it. I prefer leaves because grass clippings sometimes have seeds, and then you get a raised bed full of Bermuda grass, and you might as well torch the damn thing because you're never getting rid of the Bermuda grass. But cover it with leaves. Look at these beds here. Okay. If you're new to my channel, you may be wondering why I talk so much about this, or why I always emphasize composting and covering your beds, but this is the reason. Look at this. This is nice and moist soil. Look at this. It's just humid here, wet. Always keep your soil covered. Let's see what we have here. I'm redoing my compost piles right now, but before I get to that, I got all my onions in the ground here. All this cilantro that is right here is volunteer. Again, just let it go to seed, and it'll come out the next year. You don't have to do anything. This year I haven't done any gardening up until today, basically. Very little gardening. Oh, there's a nasty wasp. Oh my god, the garden is full of wasps right now. Red ones, yellow ones, all colors, all nasty looking, mean looking. But look at all this. You get all the cilantro right here, just by itself, all volunteers. Right here, I got a lot of little tomatoes coming out. I had some tomato plants here last year. Here they are, little tomato plants coming out. I bet these tomato plants are going to be more resilient, more resistant than the ones that I just showed you that I bought at the store. Dollars to donuts that's going to be the case. We'll see, but usually volunteers are a lot more resistant because they're the seeds that survived. Here's another little peach. I'll take them out later when it gets a little bigger. I'm going to move my compost pile from this side to this side. I had more compost there that I put into a big trash can that I keep here with a lot of compost. And there's all those wasps. I hope I don't get stung by them. So this trash can now is full of compost. That's about halfway done, so I'll just let it sit there, cover it, keep it shaded, and when I need some, I get it from there. What else do I have here? I got a lot of wasps. I'm building another little compost pile here in the shade because over there it's too sunny and it's going to dry out and it's not going to be very good for it. So I'm going to move it over here to the shade now that the days are getting a little hotter. And all those little plants that you saw, I'm going to be planting them here. The peppers and tomatoes are going to go here. This is a nice, real sunny spot. I mean, I know tomatoes and peppers, they say they need to be in the sun, but man, sometimes the sun here in Texas just scorches those plants to a point where they don't produce anything. But I'll try to keep them, you know, like in the little shade where that little tree is hitting right there. This little pear tree is kind of small, so I'll put a tomato there so it gets nice sun in the morning. In the afternoons it'll get some partial shade, so that should be okay. Let's see what else. Well, nothing else, folks. I think the keyhole garden, again, very productive little system, is self-sustaining at this point. I think I guess one of the things when you're planting, gardening, you have to keep in mind that your garden has to eventually take control or kind of dictate the direction of it. That's my view of it. I let things go to seed. I let them replant themselves. I get more resilient plants for pests and everything. You know, I had a lot of kale, like this little kale here. You know, this is a store-bought kale. It looks like crap. Got it infested with aphids. It's no good. This one, volunteer. Even though it's got aphids, I just saw a ladybug here going at it. You see, it's got some aphids there and stuff. Nonetheless, this is quite edible. It's good. Yeah, it's a good plant. It's so good, it's already going to seed. So try to keep your garden so that it just kind of reseeds itself and it just takes over eventually. Work on your soil. I mean, that's the best advice I can give you as a gardener. Work your soil. The plants take care of themselves. Work your soil. If you have good soil, you have good plants. It's just a guarantee. If you have crappy soil, your plants are not going to be good. And you're going to have to spend a lot more money putting fertilizer and putting all kinds of stuff on your garden that it doesn't need if you have good soil. This bed, it's come full term. All the seeds, all the lettuces are bolting already. I got some beets here that are ready to come out. You can see them bulging right there at the bottom. I get this gnarly thing. I think it's a radish or something. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to eat it. I'm just going to leave it there. And that's it. All this is coming out probably today. I'm going to plant something else here. Now, this is what I was telling you about the soil. Look at this soil. How dry, and look at this. It just blows away. See? Exposed soil is not good. And I did this on purpose this morning just to show you. But I'll be putting some plants here later today. And then I'll put some leaf cover on it. That way it's not exposed. But soil does not like to be exposed. Here's another kale, store-bought. Look at this. It's just nasty. It's all eaten up by aphids and stuff like that. So it's not good. This, all seeds. These spinaches are all seeds. I think this is sorrel. It's all seeds. They're all strong, healthy. But I don't know. The more I see it, the more I garden. I think that you better just let nature do its thing. Worry about your soil, and let things just strive for plants that seed themselves again. You know, let them go to seed. Look at that dill. All the dill that I have here in these beds is just seeds that I just sprinkled over the bed. It's taken over the bed. Now I don't need that much dill, really. I mean, how much dill do you need to put in your meat? But it's real tasty, and it brings a lot of good bugs here. It brings bees, it brings ladybugs, it brings a lot of good things to your garden. So I just let it be there, you know. Hey, maybe you can sell the dill one day. I don't even know how expensive that thing is in the store, but I bet you could probably sell something if you wanted to. Make a little bag of herbs, you know, sell it for $1 or something, or give it away or whatever, you know. But you get the point. Just try to keep a little productive garden that doesn't require that much work. Here's another little experiment that I had here. Well, not experiment, another little bed that I did from Alabama Gardener. My garlic. I followed his steps on how to plant garlic. I planted this garlic right at the beginning of winter, I think. which is the shortest day of the year, and it's kind of come out on the longest day of the year, which is I think June something, the equinox basically. There's a little peach that I need to get out of there. And lastly, I got this bed, and this bed, since it gets a lot of shade from this peach tree and this apricot here, I mean not nectarine, it is always shaded, so it doesn't really, nothing really thrives here. And so I turned it into another compost bin, and I put here seeds, and also what I put here is a lot of my kitchen waste goes in here. I just dig a hole in there, put it in there, and that's what I do. So I have several sources of compost, because again, I keep harping on this, but the trick to gardening is not the plants or the seeds, it's the compost, it's the soil. You gotta have good soil, and that takes time to build. But the best way to build it, it all comes from your trees in your house, your grass, your leaves, your kitchen waste. Compost everything out, and eventually you're gonna have really rich soil. This bed, for example, I mean, I probably throw in here about 20-30 eggshells a week in here. That's what we eat at the house. Old lettuces, scraps of peels and scraps and all these things. So I'm pretty sure all this is really rich, plus all the worms are in there eating that away and pooping. That's gonna create very rich soil. This was the same. Let me show you here. I'm gonna be planting potatoes here probably, and I did the same here with this little bed here for a little bit. Here it is, and this one has extremely rich soil now. Let me show you here. This is some of the rich soil I have in my garden. Look at you see, there's some, look at this right there. Anyway, folks, I think I might be running out of time. I'll let you go, but look at this soil here. It has eggshells, it's got everything. And again, I cover it, and I'll be planting some potatoes there later today. Anyway, folks, thanks for listening. Listen to me rant here a little bit, but just thought I'd give you an update. And remember, gardening is about your soil, not so much about your plants or your seeds. Keep that soil good. Until next time, bye-bye.